That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. And we are live with another episode of BS Busters. And of course, we're joined by not quite the usual suspects. Pinky isn't here right now. He's off taking care of some business. Or as they say
What's
out
up?
here in these streets, business. He's taking care of business. So with
He's
that
getting
being
his
So
munchies.
what's the title of this BS Busters?
well, we don't really have titles. We particularly have a general topic, but for you, I will give it a title. It is called BS Busters Newscast because we have the fun cast on Wednesdays, newscasts on Saturdays, and the subtitling is "Will EA learn their lesson?" Question mark. Probably not. It was a rhetorical question.
I was gonna say I could make a big joke about that one, but I'll save it for a bit.
No, I think it's abundantly clear that EA will never learn their lesson. Not because they're incapable of
Not
learning their
unless they get
lesson.
their piggy bank raided.
Not because they're incapable of learning their lesson, but because it's cast on Saturdays. Subtitling is, will EA learn? They have no incentive to learn their lesson. None.
Yeah,
Um,
as I said, until their piggy bank is raided.
yeah. Because remember when they first got their hands on the
Star Wars
on the
franchise.
Star Wars license, and instead of the first, I mean, obviously, like if you're the head of a company that has BioWare underneath you, the first game you put in place in order to sell the Star Wars license would be a Knights of the Old Republic 3, right? Like, wouldn't that make sense?
Under EA contract.
Under EA, no, we're gonna make Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, so we can microtransaction the shit out of it and then sell it to you.
The second one, oh god,
both were
that
pretty
second
bad.
one.
Yeah, they both were pretty bad. But the first one was just lazy. The second one was bad. Like, it was just, you tried way too hard in the wrong way. But before we go hard into EA, I guess everyone should introduce themselves, starting with the lady and then the gentleman, and then myself, and then we'll get into it. So, lady first.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. I'm Joe Eli, struggling to be a Busters End of the Week podcast. And EA, what do you think you're peeping doing?
What they always do: try to take over the world by making shitty games. Kenoshi, go.
It's Kenoshi Abramanito, here to say that I don't really have anything.
I got nothing.
Except, I got nothing.
I ain't got no Tifas. No, I'm joking. I ain't got no license. I'm paraphrasing shit from Richard Pryor. Okay then, and of course it's me, Mr. Red Fox. Before we go any further, I got a quick joke for you guys. Okay, quick joke. You'll love it.
Try me.
Okay, so there were two privates burning in the army, and their troop mascot died, and it was a donkey. Or at least they thought it was a donkey, because one private was like, it's a donkey. The other said, no, it's a mule. Their sergeant came along and said, look, it's an ass. Bury it. So they're digging a hole to put the donkey in the ground. And two other privates from another platoon come by, and they're like, hey, what are you guys doing? Are you digging a foxhole? They're like, It's it's an asshole, because they're burying a hole for an ass. Oh, Jesus.
I'm holding my face at how bad that joke was.
Jeez.
Okay. I got another one. Okay. Okay. So this guy and his wife were they had mice in their basement, and this is back in the day, so they were like, I'll take care of it myself. So the husband, he put some rat traps near some apples, and then he put some rat traps near some nuts. And so he went back upstairs and got in bed and his wife, and they went to sleep. In the middle of the night, they heard snap, snap, and he got up, and his wife went with him. And she stayed at the head of the stairs, and he went downstairs. He said, I'm gonna check and see where we got him. His wife yells down the steps, hey, did you get him near the apples? It's like, got him by the nuts. Yeah, that's it. It's a
it's a clean pervert joke. You can at least say that.
I like it. I like those types of jokes. Just me. Okay then. So with that being said, I guess
now back to
our
EA.
yeah. Well, first we got to start with the other stuff first. So basically, the UK's internet electronics governing body basically has come to the conclusion that essentially, while gambling in video games is a bad thing, they aren't going to do a goddamn thing about it. Or at least it's up to the industry to police itself, which sounds stupid, doesn't it?
Oh, I got something for that. In fact, it probably deserves. In fact, considering their own liking to a certain thing, I'm going to give my own thing.
All right, go ahead.
It would be called. It'd be called "piss off," as in. Hang on, I'm trying to get this right, so I'm not screwing up this one. Where is it? I know I got it. Oh, there it is. You the piss off. Predatory industries, stop scamming others financially, you fuckers.
Wow, that's you went in hard for yourself. Kenosha, you have any thoughts on people just on the industry policing itself?
And I'm surprised you didn't catch on because that was spelling piss off.
No, I get it, but
well, it's just one of those things that these politicians are probably being paid off by people in the gaming industry to keep their mouth shut.
That could be the case. It could also be because obviously the lobbyists are doing things, but there's also some other stuff going on, methinks.
Yeah. What do you think is going on?
I think it's a combination of all the above. I think there's obviously lobbying going on, but any place you have politics, there's going to be lobbying. It's
I was about to say,
there's not going to be lobbying.
Wherever politics are, always expect somebody trying to get into their pockets.
Well, I mean, I understand that people like to think lobbying is a bad term, but sometimes lobbying can be good. Like, the Mothers Against Drunk Driving lobbying against harsher penalties for people who drive drunk, or lobbying to put in place gun control laws, because statistically it's been proven if you have places that have stricter gun laws, you have less people getting shot the fuck up. But what do you think? Isn't that weird? Places that actually prevent guns from getting in the hands of crazy people don't have crazy people shooting people up with guns. It's amazing. I mean, it's almost like it's common fucking sense. But anyway, as I was saying, what I think is going on, I think it's a combination, because a lot of these politicians are old, and for them, the last time they played a video game, especially in the UK, a lot of these older politicians, the last time they played a video game was like Pac-Man and Pong and Tetris, and those games aren't particularly violent. Okay, like the concept of shit being violent, and even when you had games that were kind of violent, they weren't like obscenely violent, if you get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like, you had to use your imagination for a lot of it. Even some of the more
adult-oriented ones?
Yeah, like Custer's Revenge. You didn't know what the hell you were looking at, or Beat 'em and Eat 'em. You had to use a lot of imagination for that. It's only lately, during the last few years, that we've begun to see, well, not lately, but the last 20, 30 years, we've seen games turn into
money pits.
Well, I mean, where you've seen games
I'm
get
being
more
polite.
violent. So my point behind all of this is to say this. The thing that people need to understand is that gaming is not what it used to be. All right. And I mean, I do agree that there is, there needs to be some responsibility on the gaming industry, but also, I mean, like the
You
real.
can't offload it to the game industry alone. You need to get the parents in on it too.
Well,
But
I can offload it on because what they're doing is they're basically what these companies are doing is that they're putting gambling mechanics in video games. The problem with that is that like here's the thing: there are adults who cannot deal with gambling. Okay, like there are adults who have lost their homes, destroyed their family, gone into thousands of dollars worth of debt, and these are people who ostensibly have the equipment to deal with certain situations because they're adults. Then you have kids who don't have the mental maturity for a lot of this dealing with it too. So it's like one of those things where it's like, okay, this is not going to work. You know what I mean? It needs to be regulated. Like, there's no reason to have that level of stuff going on with these kids. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. I know some people are going to say, well, more regulation? Yeah, because I mean, like, I'm just gonna say this right now. I would rather just pay a flat fee for stuff. Like, I would rather have season passes or expansions than pay a lot of little tiny,
pieces.
Yeah, microtransactions out the wazoo. But that's just me. Everyone has their own thing.
I'll admit that I like to try to have everything at least paid off at once, or if there's DLC that adds very new content that wasn't involved in the main game, I would be thinking about paying for it. But then there's those beeping practices that cut the main content apart and then try to sell that to you at a price that's half of the game, which I have a middle finger for.
Well, the thing is I mean, we're not talking about the DLC. We're talking about like they're putting like loot boxes and randomized things in the game where it's basically like a miniature version of what you would get in a slot machine, and that's gambling. People are spending real money on things for something that they want, and that's literally gambling. And I mean, it's bad enough when adults can get addicted to gambling. It's worse when
it's kids that are getting into this.
Yeah, because like me, I'm not really into gambling. Like I'm not really into the whole gambling thing. But I know people who are into gambling. I have relatives in my family who are like majorly into gambling. Like they have spent huge sums of money on scratch tickets and going to casinos and all that type of stuff. So, I mean, I'm very much aware of how that could be an issue. And these are adults. So imagine if you have kids that are being trained to have addictive personalities when it comes to gambling. You know what I mean? Which is the problem. That is the problem, in my opinion, is that basically there's no, and no one wants to do what needs to be done because people say, well, let the industry regulate itself. Yeah, because they've been doing such a good job.
Look how that rolled.
Yeah. I don't trust it. I don't trust any of it, really. I don't trust. I don't trust. I don't trust the industry to regulate itself. Kenoshi, your thoughts on we'll regulate ourselves, even though it hasn't really been working. I would say it all, but not really.
I don't necessarily trust the industry to regulate itself, but I also think there's got to be some accountability when it comes between the parents and the adults too.
Well, I mean, that's true, but the thing is like, like the reason parents get video games for their kids is because you don't always have time to do all the stuff, and sometimes you just want your kids to, you want to give your kids
Have some
something.
fun.
Yeah, you want to give your kids something fun that they can do that doesn't necessarily require a whole bunch of other people there in order to have fun with. You know what I mean? Um, and parents, like it's enough that your parents have to worry about putting food on the table, keeping you at the streets, trying to keep you on the straight and narrow, but then they also have to worry about the very games you're playing having gacha mechanics in them, loot boxes and a certain ratio and you might win. Like that, this is ridiculous, and no one, like it's unacceptable in my humble opinion. It's unacceptable, and we just keep on dealing with it, and I'm not cool with it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. Damn it.
For me, I'm just waiting for the inevitableness that comes with all this trouble. The inevitable backlash.
Well, I think at some point what you'll see is you'll see a backlash, but when
I said backlash will happen sooner or later. I'm just waiting for it to happen. So that's gonna probably be a while.
I mean, I think eventually you'll see a backlash, but when is going to be the big kicker. When. But I think we've spent enough on this. Anyone else have anything they want to talk about before we move on to the next topic? Anything? No? Okay. All right, then. So the next one is brand loyalty study shows Nintendo is behind PlayStation and Sony. Thoughts?
I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is probably from somebody that already has knowledge about it. I admit that I'm biased towards Nintendo, and I maybe in a sense of brand loyalty to them because they actually treated me right.
Yeah.
But if anything, it doesn't blind me.
Less, but that doesn't mean I give them a pass on it.
I was gonna say that it doesn't mean that I'm blind to their mistakes, but I'm willing to at least I'm at least willing to look at what they're doing and try to figure out why they're doing this, as in not just call them out on it, but try to figure out why they're doing this. And in a sense, I will say that some people, that if anything, if it wasn't for how people push them on the Wii U, some of the things that happens with the Switch wouldn't have happened.
I guess so.
At least as far as I figured. Which means I don't put all my blame on Nintendo for certain things, but oh god, do I know I got some issues with them, and one of them would be the online loyalty system.
Alright.
What about you, Red?
Well, I'll go last. Kenoshi, why don't you go next?
So what's the question again?
How do you feel about Nintendo trailing behind behind Microsoft and PlayStation for brand loyalty?
Well, a lot of it just has to do with Microsoft and Sony have other stuff besides game consoles.
No, that's true.
It's not just they're just not in the business of video games.
That's true.
So, I mean, it just seems obvious. That's why it doesn't surprise me that they would trail behind.
That's a good point. I would. Let's see what else. I mean, you have to keep that in mind. You also have to keep in mind that most of the time when Nintendo does really well, it's not because they did really well because they made like the best product. A lot of the times, their products that really succeed are because they're popular and they're tapping into a different niche. So you look at the Switch and you see the Switch selling gangbusters, but that doesn't necessarily guarantee that
They're going to be at the top.
that the next console is going to do really well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, because we saw the same thing with the Wii to the Wii U, and the Nintendo to the
SNES.
to the SNES, and from the SNES to the N64. Like, it's very rare that you get a console that just goes each generation does really well. PlayStation is a phenomenon for that.
At least you could say that Nintendo's been the one that's been in the green the most.
Well, I mean, monetarily, they've always been like, even with the Wii U, they made money, but like, we aren't talking about the monetary. We're talking about brand popularity and all that shit. And Sony has, love them or hate them, they have had great brand loyalty. Mostly because, like Kenoshi said, they have lots of other shit that they
dig into.
Well, yeah, they have a lot of different. They have their hands in many stews, as we say, and
yeah, you're right about that.
So, I know some people are going to get mad about that. They're going to be like, well, And to be fair, for me, Sony was always like my second console. I don't have a lot of Sony branded stuff. I think Sony as a brand is overrated, but
highly overrated.
No, just not with just their consoles. Like their ear. Like, I got some Sony earphones. They're shit. I've got some.
That's kind of how I feel about Bose. Like, about some Bose headphones, it's like they're okay, but they're not as top tier as I thought they would be.
And just because they got a famous name or a brand to it, that doesn't mean their quality is high powered.
Well, I mean, I'll say it like this. Sometimes, like Intel, right? If you get a high-end Intel CPU, yes, the high-end Intel CPU may be expensive, but I mean, you're gonna get what you pay for. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like, sometimes all you're paying for is just the name, and that's that's like Alienware. Alienware, all you're paying for with Alienware is just the fucking name. Because you look at the specs of an Alienware gaming PC, and if you took half of that and built your own, you get the same performance for half the money. I mean, almost everything Alienware sells is overpriced. And it was bad when Alienware was its own thing, but when Dell bought them, it got even worse.
Yeah.
So,
kind of a downer.
I mean, so when it comes to like Sony and Microsoft, I think part of it is what Kenoshi said, that they have this whole big, huge thing going on. I can understand that. I'm not gonna knock them on that. But also, I mean, like I said, the reason a lot of this shit is popular is because and I hate to say this. Well, actually, I don't hate to say it because it's true. The reason a lot of this stuff is popular is because basically, for all intents and purposes, I mean, how can I put this nicely?
They advertise.
Well, I mean, because it's popular. That's why it made money, because it was popular, not because it was particularly high quality. And that's the thing that people just don't seem to understand about a lot of this shit, is that it's not popular because it's really good or anything. It's popular because it made a lot of money. I mean, they spend a lot of money on advertising,
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily equate to you're going to be popular the next generation, especially with consoles. I mean, like I said, remember the 360? Remember all those Xbox or die motherfuckers? And then the Xbox One came out, and a lot of them jumped ship to the PlayStation, and they never came back to the Xbox. Like Microsoft is still not exactly doing all that well.
Yeah, I was gonna say that there's a difference between popularity and durability. Like you could be the next Elvis Presley, and then you'd be dumped for something like Kid and Play.
Well,
oh God, I sound old like that.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't. Hey, that's a little too far on that one.
That's a little too old, I think.
That's a little too old school right there.
Yeah, I'm showing my age with that one. I'm sorry.
Next you'll say, you'll be the next Kid Capri. But anyway,
that was your line, not mine. The Kid Capri one.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. As far as brand loyalty goes, like I said, I think that it's a combination of what Kenoshi said, and also just, I mean, you know, like it doesn't mean anything because there are people who will buy a PS like, and I'll be honest with you, Microsoft and Sony are making it really attractive to buy their new consoles because they're backwards compatible with the old shit, so people don't have to throw out their entire library in order to play their old games. Unlike with the Switch, basically. Like they're putting shit for $60 over to the Switch with practically nothing really added of value,
yeah. But there's a irony to this, and I bet you missed it, or hopefully you didn't.
Okay, what's the irony?
Most of people in the current gen or the last gen, they were saying how we didn't need backwards compatibility because it was too expensive.
I don't remember anyone saying that.
Oh, I remember it.
I remember people using that as an excuse, like, from the industry, but, like, gamers weren't like, yeah, we don't want this because it's too expensive.
Yeah, I was remembering that because there's some industry leaders that should have kept their trap shut about how the industry didn't need backwards compatibility.
Yeah, I think the industry said that. I don't think gamers said that. Because if you went and asked someone who's a customer, who's a consumer, hey, do you want a PC? Do you want a CD player? Do you want a DVD/Blu-ray player? Do you want a Blu-ray player that only plays Blu-rays, doesn't play DVDs as well? They'd say, fuck no. Because I mean, basically, it's a similar format. It should be able to play all that other shit too. Is what you'd ask. I mean, that's what basically Joe Blow consumer would say. Not, no. I only want to play this one format.
All right, guys, I'm back from eating dinner.
All right, like no one would say that. Like no consumer would say that. Now, maybe someone in the industry as an excuse would say that, but not someone who was actually a consumer. And I'm looking at this from the viewpoint of a consumer because I don't own Microsoft
remembering
or Sony. All right.
That's the thing. I was remembering that from how Sony and Microsoft kept on saying that it wouldn't be needed, and even though I know the customers never say it,
it wouldn't be needed because
I was gonna say that there's some fans that are so blind to the wordings that they probably followed what was said.
Yeah, it wouldn't be needed because they know that they have an entire group of people who will spend $60 on the same old shit, just slightly updated. Like I know people who bought Lego City twice.
Thank goodness I wasn't part of Lego City.
They bought that shit 2 times. They bought Lego City twice. It's ridiculous. But that's either here nor there. So the next, another topic from Pinky is the ESRB rating suggests the Wii U isn't done with new games. Apparently, someone's putting some more games on the Wii U, allegedly.
Which I have to be surprised about because by most people would say that the Wii U's dead.
I would agree with them.
And it's going to be Shakedown Hawaii.
Really? No, that makes sense. People really want that game. And, you know, I think the people who kickstarted that game really wanted it on that console. Some people did. And me personally, I'm kind of like, I like it. I like it either way. I mean, I have it on PC, so, you know.
It works for you because you already got it.
Wait, did Shakedown Hawaii come out? Finally?
Yeah, it came out on PC. It came out on the Epic Game Store.
It also came out on 3DS and Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. But I got it on PC for like $10, so. Because I'm not paying full price for anything.
I was about to say, why am I not surprised?
Bastard. I'm a cheap bastard.
I wouldn't be surprised if you go.
Full price when you
I wouldn't be surprised if you came out as Wario someday.
No, it's just, I mean, you know, like there's some things you got to spend full price on. Then there's other things where it's
I
like,
know,
why?
but I was saying that I wouldn't be surprised if you came out for one Halloween dressed as Wario with that kind of mindset.
I couldn't pull it off. I'm a black guy. I can't pull off a hairy ass Greek guy. I can't do it. Can't pull it off. So yeah, I mean, listen, that's like a 10, 12 million install base. So, you know, if they get even if they get like 5% of that, that's still a lot of sales. So, you know, good luck. Any thoughts on that before we move on to the next topic?
Well, what were you guys talking about? I had to step away from.
A game is coming out on the Wii U of all things.
Oh yeah.
Isn't
Shakedown Hawaii?
Yeah,
isn't
that's
that? That's that.
It's kind of like the sequel to River City Rampage. Not River City Rampage.
Yeah.
Retro City Rampage.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that came out already.
Yeah.
I thought because I know it was. They announced it for the Switch a long time ago, and then for some reason it just hadn't released or something.
No, it came out on the Epic Game Store first on PC. People were mad because it was an Epic Game Store exclusive. For like
Boo.
Yeah, they were mad about that. But you know, I bought it. I'll admit, because I like Retro City Rampage and I have that on Steam. I was like, because actually, no, I kickstarted Retro City Rampage, so I was like, yeah, why not? I'll. Matter of fact, I kickstarted Retro City Rampage and I got the option where you could get it on 2 platforms of your choice. So I got it on PC and 3DS.
So by now he's already grabbed both of them.
Yeah, so like when the next game came, I was like, yeah, I'll just get it because I like Retro City Rampage. It's basically like a GTA but old school.
I was gonna be saying that it's like GTA 3, but a lot more varied, right?
No, it's more like the original first 2 GTAs that were top down and you could see everything. They're like that.
Okay, I was a little off because
GTA
I was trying to remember the last.
3D. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it was exclusive to that console. Now you know some people might not like it, but I personally I think it's pretty fun. So I enjoy the game. It's a little short. It's kind of
I was about to say it's a short game, but then again, it's not an easy game, but it may be short.
It's once you begin to make a lot of money in the game and you buy enough properties, it gets really easy because you have enough money to buy anything you really need. Like you can buy better weapons, you can buy upgrades for your characters, making them run faster, jump higher. I mean, it like any open world game. Once you get enough money, the game gets a lot easier. But that's
Once you
neither
get
here
enough
nor
money,
there.
it's easier. Okay.
Yeah, any open world game, once you get enough money, it's easier. So I guess we can move on to the main topics. The first one is the PS5 and the Xbox Series X are both backwards compatible.
Um,
No, go ahead, Kenoshi.
not particularly shocked by this because again, I mean, it'll help with droughts and stuff. I know. Why don't you just keep your old systems? Well, we live in a world where people like to trade stuff in.
Yeah, that's what GameStop is praying they can stay around long enough for those systems to come out so that the people will trade in their old shit.
Yeah.
The technology for backwards compatibility is more expensive than people think.
You know, normally I would agree with you, except there's one very small problem here. And the problem is that both the PS4 and the Xbox One are both basically, they aren't consoles in the traditional sense. They're just shitty little micro gaming PCs. So basically, with none of the strengths of having a gaming PC. So basically, making computers are the ultimately backwards compatible platform because basically, like really old shit can just be emulated on a PC. And that's all these old. And here's the thing: these next generation of consoles aren't going to be doing anything substantially different from what the current generation consoles are doing. And yeah, I'm throwing Nintendo in at the boot. Switch ain't doing anything. The Switch isn't doing anything that the Wii U could not have also done. Like none of the games on the Switch are like, oh my god, this could have been done on the Switch. So. I mean, you know, they're all guilty of these 0.5 upgrades.
Additions.
Yeah, these 0.5 upgrades. And, you know, I know some people will be like, well, you know, but I like insert game here. Look, I'm not disavowing someone's liking something. I'm just simply saying that if you're thinking that you're going to see these amazing fucking...
epic changes.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
For me, I at least say that if you're gonna move up to the next console, I don't mind, but do not advertise that you are going higher graphical detail unless you can prove it.
Well, they do that all the time. You know, we have better graphics. I don't believe it, but we do. I promise. I swear.
To the point of Fallout 76's bragging. I'm asking if it's gotten to that point.
Fallout 76 didn't. Well, they kind of bragged about the graphics, but their big thing was the big thing they bragged about was this is the biggest Fallout game we've ever made, and it is the biggest Fallout game they've ever made. Doesn't really mean much of anything because the base game is a broken piece of shit, but you know. Hey, semantics. It's a wonderful word game. So, I mean, I don't know. Anyone have anything else they want to say before we...
Clever wordplay, my friend. Clever.
Semantics! Before we move on to the main topic, which is there apparently, allegedly, is a Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake being worked on.
Because it's a rumor, we have to take it with a grain of salt.
I'm taking it with a handful of salt because it's from EA.
I mean, again, that's probably not a good idea because, you know, I never played these games, but a lot of people consider them a classic. So
yeah.
Yeah.
You are correct.
New BioWare isn't old BioWare. Remember that.
Defense is going to be a one-to-one. Defense is going to be a one-to-one remake of the original Knights of the Old Republic, meaning there won't be anything to mess with. At least.
That's naive.
They'll find a way. It's EA. They'll find a way to fuck it up. You know it. I know it. We all know it.
Yeah. EA trying to not put microtransactions in their games.
Well, not even that. It's just they'll find some way to mess it up. They'll either make it less. They'll dumb it down, or they'll make it stupid, or
It seems like it's a law of physics.
or they'll add some bullshit. You know, it's like love decks, taxes, and EA will find a way to fuck up a game that should have been a home run.
Yeah.
We can't
That's
help
one-
it. We gotta fuck it up. Yeah, I know, because you're EA. That's what you do.
That's one of the best ways to put it.
But maybe they won't fuck it up. I mean, I don't know. You know, maybe, maybe a bag of money will fall out the sky.
If that happens, then play the lotto.
Maybe I'm insane. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know. But, maybe it's just me. But anyway, what are your guys' thoughts on it?
Whew. On which topic? Just being sure.
On the Knights of the Old Republic remake
Starts of the
rumor.
Old Republic remake.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm staying the beep away for that because if it's made by EA, you can guess where this could go.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be BioWare, but it's going to be like the current BioWare, which I wouldn't trust to tie their own shoes, much less make a
game.
Yeah. Like, I don't trust current BioWare. I wouldn't trust current BioWare to walk across the street. Like, no, don't walk across the street. They might trip and fall and get run over. Don't do it. Don't do it. I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that. But, I mean, look, the way BioWare's been over the last few years, would you trust them to walk your dog? Seriously.
The only thing I would probably trust them is watching a goldfish.
Not even a goldfish, because you actually have to change the water of a goldfish because they excrete a lot of ammonia, and that's why goldfish are always dying so quickly. So, like, really, a goldfish is more of a pain in the ass to take care of than a cat or a dog. Actually,
Dang.
fish in general are more of a pain in the ass to take care of than a cat or a dog. Most people don't know that, but,
I was about to say, I know that people usually say taking care of a fish is a big responsibility.
Oh, it's because here's the thing: if your dog is hungry, your dog will come up to you. If your dog wants water, if you leave water out, your dog will take care of it. If your dog has to go to the bathroom, if you have a dog door or your dog knows how to open the door and go outside, they'll go and take care of themselves. Fish don't do any of that. They just they do everything there, and you have to change the water. You're supposed to, like, depending on what type of fish you have, if it's a fish that's like high maintenance, like a goldfish, you have to change like 30% of their water every 2 weeks. And that's pushing it. Really, it should be every week. You change 30% of their water, and you also shouldn't put them in a bowl, because if you put them in a bowl, the water. Like, if you have a goldfish, you have to put them in a large tank so that there's enough water to disperse the ammonia. That's why goldfish in tanks die all the time.
Which is weird because goldfish are labeled as beginner pets.
Yeah, and they're lying to you. Goldfish are not beginner. Fish in general are not beginner pets. It's the worst trap parents ever do for kids. They're like, well, we'll get them fish. Fish are literally the worst pet to keep. They are terrible, especially goldfish.
I mean, cats and dogs are somewhat independent. Cats are seen to be slightly more independent, but
like a cat. If a cat's hungry, if you put food out, they'll eat. If they're thirsty, they'll get something to drink. Same thing with a dog. All you really got to do with a cat, you don't even have to walk a cat. Although you should play with them to tire their asses out so they don't destroy shit.
Like your couch.
Anything, just play with them, do something. But yeah, but back to the topic at hand. Yeah, basically what I'm saying is this: I don't trust BioWare as it is right now to do anything. I don't trust them to do, because basically they have messed up so much stuff that it's just not worth giving them the benefit of the doubt. And I know, like, here's the thing, like I have noticed there's two gamers in the gamosphere. There's gamers who are skeptical and have been screwed over by now, and then there are gamers who just want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Whether they deserve it or not, they get the benefit of the doubt. No matter what, they get the benefit of the doubt. And for me, I can't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't give, like, you know, like, I give Nintendo a lot of the benefit of the doubt because they earned getting the benefit of the doubt. But but they're starting to lose some street cred in my book too, because they've been fucking up too. So, you know, I'm not gonna be like, well, you know, they're just, you know, it's, you know, no one is immune to being
immune to goofing.
No one's immune to getting talked about. But I mean, Nintendo has more goodwill and not bad will because they've done less messed up stuff. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
at least they try to not goof up.
Well,
unlike the other two.
Even if you take the stuff that they have messed up on, like the mobile gaming, that's only recent. They've only recently been doing that. But you look at Sony and Microsoft and EA and Activision. They've been messing up a long time. Like it's a pattern of behavior with them.
Yep.
They can't help it. They can't help messing up. So, I don't know, man. I mean, like here's the thing. And first of all, why would you remake Knights of the Old Republic when it's already been remade in the Unreal Engine? That's the real thing, is that it's already been remade. Why would you remake it again? That doesn't make much sense. But, you know, this is EA and they're stupid.
I think you're referring to the Old Republic.
That's what I'm saying. Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 have already been remade in the Unreal Engine.
But those are remasters, I believe.
I mean, yeah, but it was still remade in a new engine. It was still remade in an entirely new engine. So that doesn't necessarily mean, oh my God, apparently EA wants that money. So, I mean, personally, I just don't trust. Like, I don't trust EA, and I'm someone who loves Knights of the Old Republic. It's one of my favorite games. One of my favorite Star Wars games. One of the few Star Wars games that I love that wasn't made by Factor 5. And we all know Factor 5. You guys know who I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
People who made Rogue Squadron, the Rogue Squadron trilogy. Perhaps one of
the boy. Yeah.
Rogue Squadron. So awesome. Man. But that's just me. So yeah, I don't trust. I do not trust. I do not trust Activision. I mean, I don't trust BioWare as it is right now to make this game. But I also don't trust any other studio to make the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess we can keep it moving. Street Fighter V Champion Edition, allegedly. This is a rumor. It's coming to the Nintendo Switch.
I'd say it's about time, or it took them how long to do this?
I mean, I don't know. You know, what are your thoughts on this? Because I'm not into fighting games like I used to be. Who wants to go first?
Well, what? Sorry, what was the question?
Street Fighter V is about to hit the Nintendo Switch.
However, it got deconfirmed by one of Capcom's CMs.
Yeah.
Michael Martin.
Whatever. Yeah, I don't care either or. They can do it.
Yeah.
For me, I'm kind of happy, but also I'd say it's about beeping time, or this is one of the biggest trolls I ever heard.
I mean, the way I feel about it is,
I'm mixed, really,
like, here's the thing.
because
I don't really give a shit about Street Fighter as it is right now. Like,
I
I
hear
just
where you're
don't
getting
care.
at. I'm
Um,
I get where you're coming from. I'm just saying that if anything, it probably isn't bad. It's a good thing that Street Fighter is coming back to Nintendo in a sense, but
yeah, but this is a
it took
rumor,
them this long.
so we don't know if it's true. That's the thing.
So yeah, in that case, I hope
But
that
what I,
we
but what
get
I
some
found,
hard evidence soon enough.
but what I find skeptical of this leak is that they're skipping over Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Yeah, which I mean, really, if you're going to bring a game over, that would be the game to bring over because we haven't really. Um,
Because all versions of Street Fighter 1, 2, and 3 are out and Alpha are available on Nintendo Switch. So we should get Street Fighter 4 as well.
we should.
Before we get
We
Street Fighter
probably
5.
won't. We should,
But then again,
but we
this is from the
probably
same crew
won't.
that I was gonna say. This is from the same crew that probably had their DLC characters already on the game. Oh boy.
You know, we should, but we probably won't.
Now some asterisks in there.
So, I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that because, you know, how dare you say something they don't like? 'Cause, you know, if they don't like something, then it doesn't count. But I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah, onions do not make you cry.
No, I like Street Fighter, but Street Fighter, in my opinion, hasn't been good since Street Fighter 3.
3?
Yeah, it hasn't been good since Street Fighter 3. So I'm not exactly like, oh my god, Street Fighter is just, I don't care. I'm sorry, I know some people will disagree, but I don't care. I haven't enjoyed Street Fighter in years, so I'm not exactly, you know.
Into the metagame?
No, I just don't particularly think it's going to be good now. I know some people will disagree with me, but I don't care. But hey, I could be wrong. You know, you never know. Things have been known to change. What are your guys' thoughts on it? Do you think that do you think that Street Fighter okay, you know, this is despite it possibly being just a rumor. If it did come to the system, would you buy it? Like, are you that much of a Street Fighter fan that you care? It's my
Oh, I
question.
certainly would, and be a Menet fan, a Menet main.
All right. Okay then. So I guess we can keep it moving. Keep it moving. I guess we can do the free topic. So the free topic is one that's not exactly near and dear to my heart because I just came up with it. What have you guys been playing lately?
I've been playing Samus Returns.
You've been playing what?
I've been playing Samus Returns.
Oh, really? Oh, it's a good game.
However, my playtime has been cut shortly because my new 3DS XL is suffering from memory effect.
Oh. Yeah, mine was suffering that too. You might need to put a new memory card in there.
I was advised to let it deplete all of its battery life so I can recharge it full, hoping to get it fully charged 100%.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was having the same issue, and the way I resolved, I just got a new graphics, a new memory card, like a good high quality memory card. Because with me, I was using a cheap one, not like ultra cheap, just not like as high quality as it could have been. So I had to get better. But hey, to each his own. What have you been playing, Kenoshi?
Let's see. I'm mostly playing Dragon Ball Fighter Z lately. I haven't really been playing too much lately.
All right. Let's see, what have I recently been playing? I've been getting into Mirage Sessions again. FE. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. It's basically like I said, it's a Persona game. People are like, it's a Persona game. Okay, it's just
Speaking
a Persona.
of which, it's currently number 1 in the Japanese eShop on the Switch.
Yeah, people like Persona games. Like if you are a fan of Persona games, that's what you like. Like it's like that. And I am a fan of Persona games. I really do like them. I'm not saying they're perfect. I just like them for what they are. I haven't been playing this, but I watched Bad Boys for Life last week. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
Wasn't that the newest one that came out?
It's the newest one, yeah. It's the newest one. And I'm working on a review for it. Yes, I'm actually going to review it. And the title is Bad Boys for Life. Martin Lawrence and Will Smith aren't too old for this shit.
I'm funny to see that because they already announced a 4th movie in the works.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you watch the movie, they set up having a sequel. They set up a sequel for it, and they actually did it organically. It wasn't just like there was a slight retcon to some of the characters, but it did feel like, oh, we just threw this shit together, which I like.
Yeah.
I like when people don't just, throw some shit together because people love to do that, which is annoying. It's annoying and I don't like it, damn it. But that's just me. So yeah, and I'm probably gonna watch the Gentleman next week. Jewel, wake up! You're snoring. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, but I like it for what it is. Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm going to say this right now. I know some people might disagree. I think this is one of the better
movies of January.
Well, that, and also I was going to say that it definitely is it's the best Bad Boys film I've seen in a long time. Yeah, it literally is the best. Because it's better than Michael Bay films. Because the problem with Michael Bay is that the Bad Boy films under Michael Bay were just really, they were really, how can I put this?
Racist.
Well, I mean, like, they were things made in the '90s, so the racism didn't really bother me. What bothered me with the Michael Bay films was just they were very, they were action heavy and nothing else. If you get my idea.
Yeah.
Like, my problem with Michael Bay isn't isn't just that his movies are just like, there's no one in the room to say, man, that's don't do that. Like, if you watch a film where Michael Bay just had no filter, he could do whatever he wanted, you wind up getting something that's very, like,
has no restraint.
Exactly. Like in that Transformers movie where they had the Jigaboo bots. with racist black stereotypes for robots. I was like there was no one in the room saying, "Don't do that, please, please don't do that." You know, and that's a problem. That is a problem that there was no one saying, "Don't do that" to Michael Bay, and he just did it anyway. You know, because like here's the thing: Michael Bay isn't that good of a director where he can just do whatever he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, like Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg has earned the right to say, "Okay, I'm going to make a movie about slavery," and people will be like, "Well, you know, he'll probably handle it in a way that works." Michael Bay is not that type of director.
Yeah.
Like, I don't trust him to handle stuff in a way that's not going to be stupid or just racist. I don't trust Michael Bay. I don't trust him. I don't trust him not one bit. But you know, what do I know? I'm just some guy. But yeah, I do not, you know, and Bad Boys, because the thing about a buddy cop movie, like everything in a buddy cop movie depends on these characters. Like, do they feel like they're actually friends? Do these two characters have chemistry? It's the reason why Men in Black International failed, because Tessa Thompson had zero chemistry with Chris Helmsworth, like none.
You might as well put an extra in that spot.
Yeah, I had to lower your volume. You were snoring, Jewel, so I had to lower your volume. I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Were you actually asleep?
Yeah, she was
No.
she was
I
sawing
was
logs.
To be honest with you, I actually was listening mostly.
You was snoring logs, but that's okay. I'll let it go. But anyway, yeah, he was yeah. I mean, you know, a buddy comedy has to legitimately, you know, you have to feel the chemistry. And if you don't have chemistry, well, it
Yeah,
doesn't work.
yeah, kind of like an extra main character.
Basically, yeah, you got to have the chemistry. If you don't have the chemistry, then it's not going to work. And people don't understand that about a lot of films. They think, oh, well, I can just do whatever I want. It doesn't matter because, you know.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that doesn't work. You actually need to have chemistry with a buddy cop film. It's like the reason why Lethal Weapon worked was because, you know, Danny Glover and Mel Gibson had chemistry. You know, and buddy cop. I mean, that works in buddy cop movies. You got to have chemistry. If you don't have chemistry, then a buddy cop movie's not going to work. And that's just the way it is. And the sooner people understand that, the happier they'll be. But that's just me. Anyone have anything else they want to say? Anything?
Oh yeah, there is one other this other free topic from The Verge.
All right.
YouTube has signed a exclusive streaming deal for Activision Esports.
Yeah, I saw that. I was gonna treat it as news, but I was like, the fact that it's Activision, I don't really give a shit. Like, I don't care about this war that Twitch and YouTube are having with one another, because I'm not getting any of that money.
To be honest with you, I'm a little concerned about it because I actually wonder how the haze is this gonna turn up into another mess.
Well, it's gonna turn into something, all right. It's gonna turn into something, damn it. And maybe that's just me, you know. Maybe I'm the one who's wrong. I don't know. I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, at the end of the day, you're still going to be streaming. People are still going to be watching this. And people are still going to be spending money and watching other people play video games for money. Like, I don't understand that. Like, why would you want to watch other people play video games? And here's the thing. Like, people are like, we're athletes. You're not athletes. All right?
I was about to say, if anything, it's like watching poker with esports.
Yeah, but I don't even think poker is really an athlete. I mean, isn't an athletic thing. Like, I'm gonna say this right now. In my humble opinion, like for me, like I don't consider. How can I put this? I don't consider people who play video games as athletes. Just because, for me, athlete means you're doing something that no one else can do, right?
Yeah, that's the thing that bugs me because the only thing I consider esports is even close to being related to is, well, as I said, games like poker.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even do that. Like, I mean, think about it. Like if you
Take your time.
Like, okay, you look at NBA players, right? You look at a dude who's like 7'6" and slam dunks. I don't care how much you practice. If you aren't tall and athletic, you're not gonna be able to slam dunk. But here's the thing: if someone's playing StarCraft at a competitive level, Fortnite at a competitive level, Counter Strike at a competitive level, if you, like any normal Joe Blow who has access to the resources to practice enough, could get good enough to play professionally. So if anybody can do it, that's not a professional sport. Like, in order for something to be professional, there has to be people who can do something so well that they're in such a small minority that you could never, even if you practice really hard, you're never going to be at that level. Like, the average person would never be at that level. And that's why I don't consider people who play competitive sports to be, I don't consider them to be, athletes, even though they, the video game corporations keep on wanting to say, oh no, these people are athletes. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, whatever. You're an athlete, yeah, okay. Whatever you say, dog. You're the man, dog. Say it, man. But, that's just me. But yeah, apparently they did some stuff, and now they're gonna do some other stuff, allegedly. I don't know. I mean, does anyone watch, like, people play video games professionally?
To be honest with you, I try to see how the Hades some of these are competitive, because most of these are basically mind games.
Well, I'm gonna say this right now. There's only one game that I will watch people do competitively, and just because it's so cool, and that's billiards. I will watch people play billiards competitively.
Interesting to know.
Yeah, but then again, I like pool, so I like those trick
and
shots.
and not the kind of that requires water. It's the one that requires a stick.
No, I like watching people play pool competitively, because some of those trick shots are so off the chain. They are just, it's like
watching poetry in motion.
Yeah. Like some of the moves, I'm like, okay, yeah, these people are professionals. This shit, because Joe Blow average person could not do this.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think if there was something I would watch, it'd probably be fighting games.
Yeah, I mean, like fighting games would seem like the no-brainer, but the problem is that I really don't I just really don't want to spend time watching people play a fighting game. Because either they're going to play at a level where it's like you don't know what they're doing, or they're going to be playing at a level where it's like I could do that too. Why are these people getting paid?
There's also the age rating issues. Like, what if they're playing a female character whose default outfit is scantily clad?
No, I don't think most people care about that.
Wearing a risque.
Yeah, most people don't care about that.
The thing is,
unless children are because children watch sports games too, alongside with their parents.
I mean, I guess, but most people aren't really like thinking about, oh my god, they might. Oh my god, I think more people are worried that they might have another incident like the Super Bowl with Janet Jackson's wardrobe malfunction than what someone's wearing in a video game. That's just me. You know, although to be fair, Justin Timberlake did warn everyone he would have her naked by the end of the song, so it's not like no one knew the shit was coming.
I don't know, of all the things to worry about, even as a kid, because I was a kid when that happened, I was just like, really, guys, this is going to be a story for, like, you're going to really make this a story? Whatever.
Yeah, I was like, really? Like here's the thing. Why do you care about... Why are you so worried about, you know, like for me, and this is just my own personal opinion, I would be more worried about, and I know this is going to sound kind of bad, I would be more worried about seeing the gratuitous violence happening on the football field than seeing a woman's breast. That just, you know... Like, because, you know, they always say, we're trying to protect the children against sex and violence. It's like, they don't go together. I'm sorry, but they really do not go together. Sex and violence are two completely separate things.
Yeah. Unless you're one of those weird people.
Yeah.
And I hope you aren't.
Unless you're one of those weirdos that's into... masochistic type things, and then, you know, that's on you. But
as I said, unless you're one of those weird ones.
Anyway, anyone else have any other free topic they want to bring up? Here, let me check the chat, see if anyone has anything they want to add. Oh, TS Nintendo Gamer. Dude, EA is the best video game company ever. Don't ever dare to talk bad about them. They make the best sports games ever. Every sports game they make is more different than each entry than Sonic.
I'm sorry. What was that?
No, I think he's being facetious. Well, here's what I'll say.
I'm
Mario
sorry. It's just that hearing that kind of made me do a what?
Yeah, here's the problem, dude. Here's the problem with EA is that EA is very how can I put this nicely? They're very they're
money focused.
Yeah, they're very money grubbing. And here's the thing: every company is money grubbing. Every company has
to a degree, every company is.
I mean, every company that's for profit, which means almost every company in the business sector is trying to make money. I have nothing against that. What bothers me is that they're doing shady stuff to do it, like selling games to kids that they should not be selling them to, you know, and that bothers me.
Just kind of WTF.
Yeah. EA doesn't really do microtransactions. It's called surprise mechanics. Oh yeah. They give you surprise mechanics so you can feel that feeling of what was it? That feeling of accomplishment.
Pride and accomplishment.
Yeah, pride and accomplishment. That was such bullshit.
I'm trying to keep from laughing here.
Yeah, when they did that, I mean,
seriously.
I was like,
pride and accomplishment.
I was like, seriously, bro? Seriously? You're seriously gonna say that? Seriously? Like, for real? Like, when they said it, I was like, for real? For real? You're seriously gonna say this? For real? For real? Like, I couldn't believe they said it. I was like, for real? Damn.
It shows how some people are that much of a snake oil salesman.
I would rather them just be honest. And here's the thing: the guy that they fired, who used to be in charge of Dice, he told the truth. He said, "Look, people don't understand why we did this. Look, they did it because for the money. And I respect someone who's honest about we did it for the money. Okay, we were trying to get paid. I would rather have someone just be honest and say, look, we're trying to get money. Because here's the thing: if you open a for-profit business, people don't open a for-profit business just for the happy feelings and to make people feel happy.
For the sake of it,
Yeah,
they want green.
Yeah,
they want to make bread.
Yeah, people open a business for money. That's why you open a business. Okay, I know I didn't open a business just because. Well, I want people to like me. It's like, no, I went into business because I wanted to make money.
I was about to say, if you're trying to have a popularity contest and try to make a career of it, be a politician or a comedian.
I don't know. You can be like Bill Gates, just pay people to like you. But anyway, yeah. As I was saying, like I said, it's about, look, this stuff's about money. Okay, people want to get paid. All right, and I can't say I blame them. All right.
Yeah.
And TS Nintendo Gamer says, dude, in all seriousness, I like watching people play games. I watch people to root for them. Not anyone can play video games the same way. Some people have different reflexes. That's true, but Joe Blow, average consumer, if they trained hard enough, could make up for their handicaps and be able to play competitively. Maybe not every game, maybe not fighting games, but like strategy games, yeah, you could totally do that. At least in my humble opinion. I know some people would beg to disagree. Let's see. So we got a little bit of time left. Anyone have any other free topics they want to bring up before we wrap things up? Anything. Nothing? Okay.
Nothing at the moment.
All right.
Okay.
Because I seriously gotta go soon.
All right. So with that being said, give you guys sign-offs, and then we'll wrap things up.
This is Kenoshi Abominito here to say hiding in the wood chipper is a bad idea.
All right. That's from
Who
Fargo.
hides in the wood chipper?
Speaking of Fargo, for those of you who are really into Fargo, there is a new season coming out soon that's going to be all about. It's going to be all about the. I want to say the middle, the 40s, the 50s, and integration and stuff like that. Seems like it's going to be pretty good, so I'm looking forward to it. That's just me. So
I just realized.
Yeah.
One thing.
Yeah.
Red, and this is probably up your alley.
Uh-huh.
Are you hosting a Super Bowl party coming up?
I am not hosting a Super Bowl party. However,
is the Super Bowl on February 1st or February 2nd?
2nd.
Yeah, I'm not hosting a Super Bowl party. However, I mean, at my house. However, we are going to be doing a lot of business at my place of establishment for the Super Bowl, so that's going to be nice.
I probably at least ask because I know you'll be busy then.
Two teams that don't usually see in the Super Bowl, the 49ers and the Chiefs.
Yeah. Like I said, two teams I don't really give a shit about are going to be in it, so
So if anything, this is probably one of the few reasons why I would buy a Madden game to see if their prediction of the Super Bowl will come true.
Probably not. I mean, it's Madden. They do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah,
Um,
but hey, if anything, it's as entertaining as watching the real Super Bowl.
eh. I mean, I don't know.
Hey,
I don't know. Personally,
it's a guess.
like I used to like the Super Bowl, but I've kind of been boycotting the Super Bowl as of late because I read a really dark book about the Super Bowl, and I was like, I can't. I can't.
I
What
think
was it
this is
about?
probably.
Did it have some did it involve some racial?
I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off air.
Um,
I'll tell you
Yeah,
off
this
air.
is how I was thinking.
So with that being said, that's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe.
We got email, we got Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not gonna repeat it. Just watch the screen. I'll put it up for a few ticks. Not there. There. Haha. You can get in contact with the channel. We also have a Discord server. And it's BS Busters at Discord. So there you go. So there you go. So that's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. Peace, good night.
And hyper responsibly.
Yes. And no FUs going out this time.